Have you ever felt perpetually undermined, belittled, or manipulated in a relationship, but couldn't exactly pinpoint why? This is a common experience of many who have fallen prey to narcissistic abuse, a subtle and often overlooked form of emotional maltreatment. Unlike physical abuse, its wounds are invisible, making it all the more insidious. Narcissistic abuse, as the term suggests, is perpetrated by individuals exhibiting narcissistic tendencies or diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. It's characterized by a pattern of manipulation, coercion, and exploitation, cleverly cloaked behind a facade of charm or intense affection. It's a silent epidemic, often misunderstood due to its non-physical nature. The psychological impact of this form of abuse can be profound, leaving victims feeling confused, worthless, and fundamentally altered. It's a slow poison that seeps into the psyche, eroding self-esteem and distorting self-perception. Today, we aim to shed light on this insidious form of emotional abuse and equip you with the knowledge to recognize and address it. To tackle narcissistic abuse, one must first comprehend what it entails. Narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional and psychological abuse. It's characterized by a person's manipulation, control, and domination over another. This often originates from individuals who have narcissistic personality disorder, a mental condition marked by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. But let's delve a bit deeper. One of the most prominent characteristics of narcissistic abuse is manipulation. The narcissist uses a multitude of tactics, such as gaslighting, where they manipulate someone into questioning their own sanity, or guilt-tripping, where they make the other person feel guilty for not complying with their wishes. It's a mental game of chess, where the narcissist always aims for checkmate. Lack of empathy is another key attribute of narcissistic abuse. Narcissists struggle to recognize or understand the feelings and needs of others. They are often dismissive of others' experiences, showing little to no concern for their feelings. This lack of empathy allows them to act in ways that most would find unthinkable, often causing emotional harm to those around them without a second thought. Lastly, the constant need for admiration is a defining trait of a narcissist. They have an insatiable hunger for compliments, praise, and positive reinforcement. This need is so strong that they will often go to great lengths to receive it, even if it means belittling others or exaggerating their own achievements. Narcissistic abuse is not always easy to identify, as it often happens subtly and gradually. It's a sinister form of abuse that leaves invisible scars, making it difficult for victims to realize they're being abused. It's a silent epidemic that affects countless lives, often leaving deep psychological wounds that take time to heal. Understanding narcissistic abuse is the first step towards breaking free from its chains. Recognizing the signs and acknowledging the damaging effects are crucial in starting the journey towards healing and recovery. It's a challenging path, but with awareness, resilience, and support, it's certainly a journey worth taking. The signs of narcissistic abuse are often subtle, making them difficult to spot. But like a detective piecing together the clues can lead us to a startling discovery. Understanding these signs is our focus for today. Firstly, we have gaslighting. This is a manipulative tactic used to create doubt in a person's mind about their own memory, perception, or sanity. It's like a mental trickster, a sleight of hand that leaves victims questioning their own reality. This can be as simple as a partner denying they said something hurtful, or as complex as a boss insisting you agreed to an unreasonable workload. It's a mind game, designed to make the victim doubt their own judgment. Next, we have emotional manipulation. This is a master puppeteer, pulling at the heartstrings to elicit desired responses. It's a toxic dance where one partner uses guilt, fear, or obligation to control the other. An emotional manipulator knows just which buttons to press to make their partner do their bidding. They might play the victim, make you feel guilty for their mistakes, or use your own emotions against you. Moving on, we encounter excessive criticism. This is not your usual constructive feedback, but rather as a constant barrage of negativity, belittling, and judgment. It's a relentless rain of insults designed to erode self-esteem and breed self-doubt. The narcissistic abuser uses criticism as a weapon to make their victim feel small, unworthy, and always at fault. Lastly, we have control. This is not about just deciding where to have dinner or what movie to watch. This is about controlling your time, your decisions, your very life. It's a suffocating grip that leaves no room for individuality or personal growth. A narcissistic abuser may dictate what you wear, who you can see, even what you can say. They seek to hold the reins of your life, stifling your independence and autonomy. These signs can manifest in different types of relationships, from romantic partnerships to family dynamics, from friendships to professional relationships. It's not confined to a particular age, gender, or social status. It's an insidious form of abuse that can creep into any relationship, often going unnoticed until it's deeply entrenched. Yet recognizing these signs is not about pointing fingers or labeling people. It's about understanding patterns of behavior that are harmful and destructive. It's about acknowledging that these actions are not about love or care, but about power and control. It's about realizing that everyone deserves respect, kindness, and understanding in their relationships. So why is it important to recognize these signs? Because knowledge is power. Understanding these signs can help us identify if we or someone we know is in a narcissistically abusive relationship. It can help us set boundaries, seek help, and take steps towards healthier relationships. Spotting these signs is crucial in determining whether one is a victim of narcissistic abuse. It's about empowering ourselves and others to break free from the chains of narcissistic abuse and to pave the way for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Narcissistic abuse can leave deep psychological scars. This statement, unsettling yet true, frames our discussion in this section. The psychological impact of narcissistic abuse is far-reaching, affecting the victim's perception of self, their mental health, and their understanding of reality. Let's delve into the specifics. At the heart of the psychological turmoil is a significant dent in self-esteem. Victims often feel belittled, invalidated, and unimportant, primarily due to the narcissist's relentless criticisms and disregard for their feelings. This constant emotional battering can lead to a diminished sense of self-worth, making the victim feel as though they are never good enough. Depression is another common outcome of narcissistic abuse. The victim may experience persistent feelings of sadness, loss of interest in activities they once enjoyed, changes in appetite, and even thoughts of suicide. It's as if they're trapped in a dark tunnel with no visible exit in sight. Closely tied to depression is anxiety. Victims may live in a constant state of fear and worry, always on edge due to the unpredictable nature of the narcissist's behavior. They may develop social anxiety, fearing judgment or rejection, and often feel most comfortable in isolation, away from the prying eyes of the world. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is an unfortunate yet frequent consequence of narcissistic abuse. The victim may relive the traumatic experiences through flashbacks and nightmares, causing severe distress and disrupting their daily life. They may also exhibit hypervigilance, always on the lookout for potential threats, even in seemingly safe situations. Perhaps one of the most insidious effects of narcissistic abuse is the distortion of reality, a phenomenon known as gaslighting. The narcissist manipulates the victim into questioning their memory, perception, or sanity. For instance, the abuser may deny that certain events occurred or discredit the victim's feelings. Over time, the victim starts doubting their reality, leading to a state of confusion and self-doubt. The psychological impact of narcissistic abuse isn't confined to the duration of the abusive relationship. It can persist long after the relationship has ended, casting a dark shadow over the victim's life. They may struggle with trust issues, fearing to enter new relationships. They may also experience feelings of guilt or shame, wrongly blaming themselves for the abuse they suffered. But it's crucial to remember that these effects, however devastating, are not an end in themselves. They are the aftermath of a toxic encounter, not a life sentence. With recognition of the abuse, professional help, and a strong support network, victims can embark on a journey of healing. The road to recovery may be challenging and often requires time, patience, and courage, but each step towards healing is a step away from the clutches of abuse and towards reclaiming one's life. The psychological impact of narcissistic abuse can be profound, but with recognition and help, healing is possible. Breaking free from the cycle of narcissistic abuse requires courage and determination. When one is caught in the labyrinth of narcissistic abuse, it may feel like there's no way out. However, the keys to unlock the door to freedom are within us. They are the strategies we can employ to break free, setting boundaries, seeking professional help, and before we wrap things up, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. If you're currently on a journey of healing from narcissistic abuse, remember, you're not alone. There's a community right here, ready to support you. So hit the like button, share your thoughts, experiences, or questions in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and help each other grow.